Say There World, and we are live here at the Racers Recap. Again, we got a new name for the show.
We have a name.
Woohoo! My name is Justin. This beautiful lady is Diana.
Thanks.
This beautiful lady is James Earl.
This ugly beast right now is Krista.
And today's special guest.
Hi, I'm Tyler. What's up?
This beautiful lady is James.
Look at my she's
I usually have it muted.
yeah,
Sorry.
about that.
All right.
Tyler Oakley joins us.
Tyler, you don't need any introduction. You don't need introduction.
One half of this season's Green Team.
You're making me really, really proud about that. Really proud.
Thank you. Although we rarely wear green. From the start we were assigned green, but like we only packed black.
Well, yeah, at least you always have your bandanas.
Yeah, the bandanas are like flash of green.
So,
Yeah.
Everyone.
Tyler is in the house, so we really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. We know a lot of people want to interview you for various reasons, and for you to choose us, it's really cool. So thank you for
Shut
doing
up. No, this is my pleasure. I love this recap every week. Corey and I look forward to it. So thank you for having us.
Oh,
Corey
nice.
is here. Corey's in the room.
So we got our designated roles after last week. Our statistician is going to be James Earl. So James Earl, if at any time you want to throw out a stat, you can stop the whole place and be like, I got a stat. Krista, the queen of behind the scenes, if at any time this is behind the
scene queen.
Behind the scenes queen.
I'm so creepy. It's not even
If at any
funny.
time there's a
Creep
behind the
out.
scenes moment you want to throw in, you let me know. Diana, you will be manning the chat. If there's questions or comments that we need, you are there. I'll try to control the ship and just guide me along. Feel free to cut me off at any time. And Tyler,
No problem.
do whatever you want. You're Tyler Oakley.
I'm also watching the chat. Y'all are so cute right now. Everyone's so excited to be here. So thank you for hanging out with us today.
This is cool.
And Corey, if there's anything that I'm missing, text me.
Yeah, you're like on the back burner. We need you just in case.
Okay, so we're here. All right, we can start any way you want. Obviously, if there's any questions, just fire them away. Tyler, if there's questions that you have for us before we get started, or anything that you want to clear up, because you've been watching, you know what stuff kind of been talking about. Feel free to fire away with that as well.
There's nothing I'm going to start with. You lead this. I'm here for the journey.
We usually start with like a round robin. So Krista or James Earl, do you guys want to go first? Ask one of the questions you've been thinking about.
I don't know. You go.
Ahead, Krista. No,
No, you go. Nope.
I would love to go back to the Georgia episode and talk. I think it was the Georgia, right? Where the
dancing?
Yes.
Let's
I would
talk.
love to know what was going through your mind with that backpack, because I've never seen you so butch in my life.
Okay, so here's the deal. The whole situation with the Georgia, like all in Georgia, when we went to we first did the challenge with like the nuts and whatever, and we're like bleeding whatever. Corey and I make the decision to switch. We go to the other challenge, and is that the day that started with us getting in the opera house, or was that Armenia?
Yeah, no, that was that day.
Yeah,
That was that day.
Yeah.
So we started the day off like already kind of just going through it, and then we had the previous leg where we were going through it. And so when we're at the challenge where we go down into the wine thing, that was the first time in the day when somebody took my bag. And I think Corey may have said this, but a producer accidentally picked up and moved my bag. Oh. And when we were ready to go leave, us and Matt and Dana were all leaving at the same time, Corey's saying Opera House was Armenia. See, this is why I don't know anything. When we were leaving the wine thing, I was screaming already, like, who took my bag? Who took my bag? And so, like, I was already frantic about the bag situation, and the producer was like, oh, sorry, I thought this was our bag. So then, when we get to the dancing, and Corey's attempting this situation for 4 hours, I'm stressing out. It's taking everything within me not to, like, be crazy. Because the camera is right up to my face, and I'm just like already frantic, and I'm not even gonna say it. But when we actually were able to go, and Scott had taken my bag, I thought production was like tricking me again, or like trying to be cute or something, because while that was all happening, Corey was giving it his most. Scott was giving it his most. Blair was like sleeping next to me because she was going through it. And so I was just like, I'm not fucking here for. Oh, sorry, am I allowed to swear? I'm not here for this.
Yeah.
And so when I thought somebody took my bag, I was like, I was turned crazy, and we thought they couldn't even use any of the footage because I was just screaming, "Who the fuck took my bag?" to producers. Like getting up in like every producer's face, like, "Who the fuck took my bag?"
I probably would have went crazy.
And then like it was like
You
a
would have been
split
like,
minute.
Bart!
It was a
I would've
split
went
minute though,
nuts.
and Corey and I were like, "We don't need it. We're running. Like Corey and I can split clothes for the rest of the race. Like, bag's not important." So we start running down the stairs, and it's kind of a split staircase. So while we're running down the stairs, Scott's coming running up, and he's like, "I got your bag. I got your bag." And I wasn't even mad at him. I was just like, of course Scott took my bag. Like,
You can't even
that's
be
the most
mad.
Scott thing to happen to Scott. And so I was just like, it's okay. And so from there, we were able to run. But it's that whole moment of who, like, did the bag save us or blah, 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 blah. It's a coulda, woulda, shoulda. Our cab driver was incredible. We were ready to run. I think we were not giving up at all. So the bag did help. The bag, I don't know if it saved us, but the results are the results.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. And so you did a lot of preparation for the race. I saw that you guys did a lot of running. You did a lot of steps. What was the one thing that was on the race that you had no idea or didn't prepare for or didn't expect?
Did you guys dance at all? Sorry.
No, we did not dance.
There's
Though
always
there
a
is a
dance
video
challenge, though.
on my YouTube channel of Corey and I doing like this dance video game like years ago. And so when we came to the dancing challenge, we had already decided I was going to do all the dancing challenges.
Right.
Like that we had already decided. And we didn't even think when we went to the roadblock, it was just like who's light on their feet. My biggest fear on the race was, this is going to sound so stupid, like tightrope, like on top of a building, like that's my biggest fear, like balancing. So initially when I heard that, I was like, Corey, you're good, this is you. And obviously we're in a fucking ballet house, like of course it's ballet, we were not even thinking. But when you're that like in the moment, you're not.
You never know.
You never remember. You really, that's the thing. People think you can prepare for those roadblocks and be like, oh, I'm going to do all these, you're going to do all those. But you never know. Does that, like, all you did is that one little line that could mean anything.
That's
Right.
why we just switched.
But I mean, it all worked out. But the thing that I'm trying to think what we didn't prepare for on the race, I think everyone overpacks. We lost so much stuff as the race went on. We were really read the clue, like that was our biggest thing, like from the start. And I think in the very first clue that you see everyone rip at like the live thing, we're the one team standing there for 5 minutes just reading. Everyone else is running.
James
I
Earl
noticed
texted
that.
me. James Earl texted me. He's like, "Did you just see that?" Because we were watching the live feed.
Literally as I was watching it, I was like, they're going to make it far because like they are reading the first clue and taking their time, and I was like, that shows you right
what we were
there
trying to do, yeah. Because
Everyone
we were
was
like,
like,
we just gotta not be last today, and there's 10 other teams. Let's take a minute.
Yeah, you don't want to be first out.
So yeah, and there's nothing really else that I wish we had like tried to do more. It's a coulda, woulda, shoulda. You never know what's gonna happen. You're never gonna know if you need to know flags or languages or stuff. We did a lot of like puzzles. We did a lot of running. We did a lot of stairs. Our number one thing was running stairs.
Like to prepare?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I got a question from Snapchat from Yanlin.
Snapchat.
If you and Corey had gone to the U-turn board after Brittany and Ashley, who would you have U-turned then?
Don't know if you saw that, but she said.
Oh, I like her voice. Sorry.
Did you hear it?
I could hear like mumbling.
What was it? Will you say it again?
If you got to the U-turn board second after Bernie and Ashley, who would you have U-turned then?
So we kind of discussed this of who would have done what at the U-turn stop. We were when we were running the bridge back and forth with the coconuts and the chickens. We were kind of everyone was whispering to each other like, "There's a U-turn this episode. What's anybody gonna do? What's everyone gonna do?"
How did they not show that?
I was like, why didn't they show that?
That's a huge thing not to show because I was wondering when you guys talked about it.
After in Dubai, when we found out, I think there's a bonus clip where we're at the pool and they bring out Sherry and Cole, and they're like, "Surprise, we're still in it." We still had some time to like be in the pool, and there was like a a pretty clear divide of groups in the pool situation. Bernie and Ashley and Brody and Kurt were kind of like in a little huddle in the pool, and then the rest of us were over here, and all of us were like, girl, Brody and Kurt. I was like being like vocal, like if nobody's gonna talk about it, I'm like, so y'all think Brody and Kurt are threats? Yeah. Same, me too.
I like that you dropping the clues. You guys were one of the few teams that were always playing strategically, and it's showing here at the end.
I would say, well, we tried to take some time off. We didn't try to like, because there's only so much you can do preparing when you're like in airports and stuff like that. We didn't want to always be that team. But there was a lot of there's a lot of strategy leading up to the U-turn, and so when it came to the U-turn order, when we knew we were going to be first, we even up to the second when we put the thing on our way there, we were like, we don't know if we're going to use it. We don't know if we're like. It really depended on the order of situations. So when we got there and we knew Bernie and Ashley were next, because they were the next ones to be like finishing the thing, we thought, okay, well we can either U-turn Bernie and Ashley, which we were thinking of, because we knew they were probably the smartest team in the race, or we can U-turn Brody and Kurt, which is the most physical threat to us, because previously Brody and Kurt beat us in a race to the mat. They were just like fast, and we thought, okay, well, they're the only team that'll beat us in a foot race. And also we didn't know if it was a single or a double, and we didn't know if it was blind, like all these factors. So when we got to it, it was split second. It was just like, I don't know if Corey wanted to use it. I think Corey was more hesitant than I was. I was like, big game moves, let's do it. I think we both wanted to do big game moves, but you never just know how it's going to pan out. But we were like, okay, let's just use it on Brody and Kurt. And then as we were leaving, you saw in the clip, like we were just panicking, like, let's hope Bernie and Ashley know what to do, because we had never discussed it. It was never some big scheme or plan.
Corey said you guys didn't know if it was a single or a double either, so you guys had no idea.
But when we saw it was a double, we were like, okay, the only chance we have is Bernie and Ashley knowing what to do with it, since they're going to get here next. They'll know, out of all the teams left, they'll know to use it on us.
It had to work out perfect, and it did. Those are the only two teams that could have beat them, and the only two teams that I think were smart enough to put it together. So if any of the two teams got there first, it wouldn't have worked.
And here's the thing, I know
it was so funny when we were running back and forth. Dana was like, we were like, Dana, what should we do? Because Dana and Matt and me and Corey were like so close the whole race. And so we knew we wouldn't use it on each other's teams. We knew that. We were pretty sure Sherry and Cole were just not going to use the U-turn. And then we found out later that Bernie and Ashley and Brody and Kurt were planning on using it on us. So we knew we were going to use it on one of them, and we assumed they were going to use it on us. So it was truly like whoever gets there first is saving themselves. Whoever gets there last is going to be out. Like that's how it's going to be. And when all 5 teams were on that bridge, you could feel it, like everyone looking at each other in the eyes, like if you don't hurry, we're out.
I really wish they showed that you guys talking about that. That's such like a big part of everything.
Yeah, it was so funny though, because during the day with Bernie and Ashley, we were like, are you guys going to use it? And we were like, we don't think we're going to use it. And then throughout the day, we're like slowly getting closer to our decision. We're like, well, we're not going to use it on you, to Bernie and Ashley, because we still didn't know. But like we were like, we don't think we're going to. But even up until the moment, we were like, we don't know.
Well, that's what we did. Like we weren't planning on using the last one, and then kind of Chris and Logan like ticked us off a little bit. We're like, all right, we're using it. We're going to use it against them now.
And the super fan in me was like, this is the third U-turn ever. I'm going to be the one to use it. I'm putting it in the record books. I'm in the record books forever. Nobody can take that away.
That's why you use it.
The only thing we thought going into the game was do not use the U-turn like vindictively. Like don't be. Like, use it for a reason. Like, don't use it for, petty reasons. Because, like, sometimes you see that and it's just, like, from home you're like, what are you doing? But in their minds, it's like, it makes perfect sense. So, like, to us, we were like, let's just be conscious. Is this a smart thing to be doing?
And here's the thing, too, that the audience never appreciates is, like, all those little things, like, I would never know if I was just watching this that you were very close to the dancers. Because, like, you don't see that on TV. So there's all, like, these little social things that you miss that make sense when you see, like, oh, that's why they're U-turning them, but you just have no idea.
Exactly.
Right. It's so weird because, like, since the beginning, I think when we came in first and second in the very first leg, we kind of had a little bond from that. And we stuck together like in all the airports, like on the train, we like had a little slumber party moment, the four of us. And so like we were just close the entire time.
It's funny because they always say that the people that you meet right off the bat are like the ones that you stick with kind of the whole time, and that's why like Justin and Diana felt like since they weren't on that first plane with us, they were so out of the loop, and like us, Alabama and Texas, we were so close from that beginning point that it was like unbreakable. So they didn't
also
have that.
In that first flight, Corey, who was on that first flight into Cartagena when we frantically got on that flight very last second? I think it was us, Brody and Kurt, Bernie and Ashley, and maybe the dancers. I don't know. It was like it was literally like the teams that were at the front for the entire race.
Mm-hmm.
I always ask, like, what was the most challenging part of the whole thing? Like flying, like things that you don't see behind that's like really difficult or tasking or hard.
Now I'm saying the hardest part about the race was explaining what happened during that U-turn situation to fans on Twitter.
I was just that was my question about the fans.
That was the hardest thing. And, like all of our friends and family texting us like, "What's going on? What's a double U-turn? Why did they U-turn you? Why don't you have to go do the challenge again?"
But
I was just like, "Oh my god!" I was just replying with a link to the Wikipedia page for U-turn. I was like, "Girl." But during the race, the hardest thing, Corey and I got along really well. That was my biggest fear, was that we were gonna like implode, because as long as you remain steady and level-headed with each other, like, sure, you might get fucked over, you might get eliminated, but at least like you enjoyed the experience.
Yeah.
So my biggest fear was imploding, and we were really good. We only had like one moment in Dubai when we were driving on the highway when we kind of snapped at each other, and they didn't even show it. It was like so minimal. And I was like, the exit's right there, and he's like, where? And I'm like, right there, and right there. Like, and we finished that day, and we were like, oh my god, we got in the worst fight. And then we heard what happened between Dana and Matt, and we were like, okay, so maybe we didn't get in the worst fight.
So next week's preview shows you guys working with the dancers, and it shows Bernie and Ashley like. He's a little upset, like, all right, everybody's ganging up or something like this. Now, was there any of that's happened that we haven't seen where you guys worked together and some people were getting mad at you guys?
The only people that would get mad if anybody worked together were the fans at home. Why y'all acting like...
That was my question. I never got to ask a question, Justin.
It's so funny because, like, if we work together, we're too peaceful. If we don't help somebody, we're evil. It's like, I just have come to realize that like... racers can never win.
Oh, no. You'll never, ever win.
Did you expect it to, like, did you, because you have so many fans. I mean, like, when I came on the show, I really only had, like, Jet fans, so I was not prepared for this. Did you know that they were like, so passionate, like, and crazy about the show?
Yeah, no, I knew that like there were going to be super fans that are very dedicated, and I very much appreciate that. And I think Corey and I's time online really prepared us for like how to deal with people who say they want you to die, and like,
right, because I didn't have that, so for me it was a lot.
But like the times when it really got to me were when like people would come for Sherry, who like has never dealt with something like this. You know what I mean? Like, and I just want to be like, I want to be like, you are talking about a human who gave it their all. Like, I just like that's what bugs me. Like, people can say whatever they want, they can hate my laugh, whatever. But like, if you come for Sherry, like that's what bugs me. Or like Scott, or like people that like this is not what they have to deal with.
One of the funniest things too is like Bernie in the episode said, well, if we U-turn Tyler and Corey, like people won't be mad at us, and I was like, oh, but they will. People will find a reason to be
here's
mad
the thing.
at you.
I was thinking about this, about the U-turn situation. I was like, had somebody U-turn me and Corey, I really do think I, from the start of the episode, would have tweeted something like, everything's fair in a game. Like, I know the responsibility of having a fandom that will be defensive, and so like that, and that's really been a positive experience for all of this season so far. Is we've been really supportive of all the teams and respectful of all the teams, like the racers, publicly, and I think the fans of us kind of follow that lead.
That's good.
And are really kind to the other racers.
I just noticed in the chat room, Corey said that you guys were praying for a U-turn leg so you can U-turn Bernie and Ashley. The only reason you didn't do it is because you knew they would get to the board second.
Right, and when we knew that they were coming second, we were like, okay, well, all they're going to do is U-turn Sherry and Cole or Matt and Dana, which we wanted Sherry and Cole to go further because we felt we were strong against them, and we didn't want them to U-turn Matt and Dana because they were our best friends on the race. So we were like, it doesn't make sense for us to fuck over our two best friend teams by U-turning Bernie and Ashley.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Knowing that if Bernie and Ashley got there, they would know better than to leave it untouched or to help Brody and Kurt in some capacity.
So we have our question from Twitter from Belle Wren. Let's see.
To meet the monkey because
All right, let's go.
Oh, what is these
Hi,
questions?
Justin, I'm Belle. I was hoping that you could get Tyler to explain the skirts that they wore to meet the monkey.
Oh, the
because-
sarongs.
The sarongs!
The so right. What?
The sarongs,
Why did
which
you have
were
to wear
so
the
right.
so right?
Take the
I-
time to explain that.
I don't know what there's to explain. It was funny though when afterward when we were when the episode aired, when Phil was like, "Team Giggles in the pink sarong, so appropriate." I was like, "Okay, Phil."
They put
but-
James Earl in pink too.
Yeah, they did.
Of course.
That was our
Of
color.
course.
It was the pink team.
But that whole episode, we weren't even paying attention to anything because we knew it was the U-turn episode. So like, we thought any second we could turn a corner and there could be a U-turn. Like we were just like tunnel vision toward that. But that I hated that monkey thing. I did not like that.
I
Yeah.
would have seriously, if that thing was running away from me, I would have been so annoyed. Was when he
Well,
he
But
kept running.
that was a moment when Corey and I were like, perfect, there's stairs, we'll be good. Like, and those stairs were humongous stairs, and we
Yeah.
felt like, okay, this is going to slow some teams down.
That's good.
Hey, I have a question for you about that the detour. How long were y'all running? Like, how far were the chickens and the coconuts to like the location where you dropped them off?
The bridge was long and wobbly, and tons of pedestrians were on it. I would say we were, Corey, you give me your input, you are smarter at time frame. But I would say like 30 minutes of nonstop running with the heaviest load that you can carry. And you can see us. We are drenched in sweat. And luckily that day, it was our day 2 of Bali, and so we thought, okay, we didn't do much water this episode, the first day in Bali. We feel like the second day was going to be a lot of water. So I used my one pair of contacts. I put my glasses in my bag. I was like, I feel like we're going to be underwater a lot or jumping in water or whatever. And that run, if I had my glasses on, that would have been a train wreck because my glasses will like just fall down my nose. And that would have been a mess the entire run. So thank God I wore contacts that day. But it was, the bridge Corey says was 70 meters long, I think. 70 meters long.
Why did you pick that and not the
Seaweed.
seaweed?
We kind of wanted to think a bit about what everyone else was going to do, and when we read it, we thought that the seaweed one was further away. Like we just had a feeling, and everyone was kind of thinking that. And also, we knew that it was carrying heavy things. Corey and I felt really strong about that. We like any challenge where it's like do a lot of hard manual work, because we felt like we prepared for that. And so when that was kind of the vibe of that challenge, like carry this stuff, we were like, we can just get it done. We knew that there wasn't going to be a judge to kind of look at a producer and say, okay, yes or no.
That was our strategy, yeah.
Anything where we were like avoiding judges, anything where it was just like do the work, we felt like we could do the work.
Were you surprised that everybody was there?
We were happy. We were so happy that everyone was there because it really helped us keep track of how to use the U-turn because we were the first. We knew we were leaving there first. We were like, we know exactly what's going to be the order of events. So it kind of helped us shape the leg. And who knows what would have happened if 2 or 3 of the teams would have gone to the seaweed. It would have been a different race because we wouldn't have known who would have gone next.
Because you don't know if somebody was there already, if someone that you put up was there. So yeah, you guys really lucked out.
All right, random question of the night. What is that trophy behind you, and what did you win?
I was gonna ask.
That's from one of my good YouTube friends. Her name's Mamrie Hart.
I love her.
She had it etched for me, and she brought it over to me for no reason. She was like, I thought of this joke, it would have been funny, and it says, Most Valuable Slayer, Tyler Oakley, and it has etched in it. So yeah, I've always had that out since she gave it to me. Nothing special. It's
Yeah,
no
somebody asked before what's behind your curtain. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's a window. So
that curtain is a real window. What?
You're living the life over there.
Are you in a studio?
This is my home. There's a light.
Yeah, we have the same light.
It's the same light we got.
We have the same light that we have.
I have my lampshade up. So.
Somebody, Michael Jenks asked if you would selfie what's happening, and then when you post it after, to share it. I guess
I'm
going to
tweet
in the chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna tweet this out. But yeah,
Awesome.
I will.
Well, thank you.
You know what I was gonna say? The biggest travesty of this season so far is the episode titles.
Yes.
Corey and I robbed left and right.
I feel like they couldn't give them all to you, so they had to try and make
Did you
up
get
things.
any?
Yeah, they did.
I think we've gotten a couple so far,
wait,
but
nobody said
sometimes I'm just
dance.
and we couldn't even figure out who said monkey dance.
I think it was Cole. I thought I heard Cole say it.
No, I don't think so.
No.
But, yeah, you made it so easy for the producers this year. You didn't even have to look for them. They were just so clear. Every episode
The
had
So Wrong, So Right was
Yes.
the best.
Yes.
Cockadoodle Doo Doo.
Choreography, cockadoodle doo doo.
Yeah.
The one about Phil with the
I'm a
pirate
slave
booty or
for you.
something? Yeah.
Yeah.
All of these things.
Yeah.
That is absolutely right.
People don't understand how excited you get when you find out that you have the episode title.
Right.
I think that's more important than winning a leg.
I don't know that feeling. I don't know that feeling. Justin, I guess.
Neither do I, Diana. Don't feel bad.
Okay. Justin took it, I guess, for both of us,
I
like
had
you did
to.
everything else.
The record, most title quotes in the
Justin.
season.
All right.
Justin, you're also the only team that didn't win 2 prizes when you won ledge. So there's that one.
See? See what you started, Justin?
What? I can't be proud of the accomplishments?
Okay.
I didn't win.
I love it. No, that is an accomplishment.
Oh, well, we were joking about that, too, because you made a comment maybe Bernie, or Bernie and Ashley said something maybe we'll get our first, and you're and then you said to the camera, or you'll get your 5th second or something, and I'm like, Justin said the same exact thing, and of course he's cocky and arrogant.
Yeah, I'm an
I was
idiot.
like, Justin, it's the way you say it. Tyler just says it so much cuter than you. You say
You don't
it
giggle.
No, you don't giggle. You say it with all
An
seriousness.
evil laugh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Corey and I are America's tweethearts. So.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, America's Tweethearts. Well, I also do a giveaway on my Snapchat, so if you guys have followed my Snapchat, cool. I'll be doing a giveaway right after the show. Enough about that. So, Tyler, when you lined up at the starting line, you knew all the people because they're all kind of internet famous. Did you look at anybody and say, that's the team we need to beat?
You know, you know how you have the week before, and it's you can't talk to anybody, but you're seeing everybody, and you get to hear everybody's questions during the rules, and you kind of size each other up in the gym. I was not friends with anybody in particular. I knew some people going into it, but I had expected more of my friends to be there. Blair was the only one that I had ever spent time with in any capacity. But I thought, and I think Corey will say opposite, but I thought that Sherry and Cole were mastermind, brilliant, schemers. I got a vibe from them, and because we had gym time with them, and there's Cole just lifting tens of thousands of pounds, and Sherry looking cute and a real housewife, and I just was getting a complete opposite vibe of what they actually turned out to be. Which is sweethearts. But yeah, so at the start I thought they were threats. I thought obviously Brody and Kurt were threats. We thought Darius and Cam were huge threats. We immediately
You were just scared of everybody, weren't you?
I knew that nobody got picked for no reason.
Right.
Even if you get eliminated first, you still have a reason to be there. You got picked for a reason out of so many applicants, and so I didn't want to think anybody was an easy first out, which nobody was. And that's why I'm a huge proponent of a first eliminated season, because I'm we never got to hear why they got picked in the first place. They got eliminated so quick. They were all there for a reason.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Don't bring bad 27's first out. They don't deserve it.
Yeah, don't talk about our
They didn't even finish a leg. You have to actually finish a leg to be first out, don't you?
Jill can't show up.
Yeah. This is not
Drag on.
Oh, drag. Yeah, let's do first runner-ups. I like that one. The second places should probably be.
No, I don't think so.
All right. Is there anything that you've seen on the race that you're like, there's no way that it looks that easy, that it was just so much harder than they showed it on this season?
Because you know everybody says, "Oh, I could do that. That's so easy."
That's so easy. That's so easy.
Everything.
Was the puzzle that Brody skipped? Was the puzzle Brody skipped that difficult? Did you think?
I can't speak about it because I wasn't doing it, so I have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
I will say we all were like, when we found out that they used that on that puzzle before anybody even got there, we were all like, what? Blink, 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 blink. Like I didn't get it.
Kurt made a post today saying that they regret it. It was their mistake.
No, that was their fatal flaw.
That was the reason. Well, not the reason, but to trace it those steps back is a huge reason why they got eliminated.
Yeah.
I mean, it's coulda, woulda, shoulda. Who knows?
Yeah.
I would definitely say that was not their smartest move. But you never know, and I think for anybody at home to be watching and speculating of what they would have done, you don't know what you would do until you're in the moment, even if from the editing or from like just the grand scheme of what you're watching seems like it's so obvious. Like when you're in the pressure and you've been running for weeks and you're on little sleep and the sleep that you get is on like a hard floor and like you're going on protein bars that you're begging from other teams, it's like your brain is not what it is if you're on your couch watching.
But to use an express pass in first place when no one else
I'm not going to blame him. I bet he panicked. I'm not going to blame him.
Listen, in the beginning of the final leg, this is how in tune I was. I said, I'm paying for this cab for the whole day. This cab is not leaving us. As soon as we got in the cab, I started negotiating the price to keep him for the whole day. The first thing I did, because I knew there was no way I was letting the cab go. I'm a super fan. And guess what? You get in a damn situation, and everything starts to happen, and
right. It's hard to. I can't stand speculation. Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
In like on the fan page or the stuff like that. I'm just like, you don't know.
Yeah.
And you won't know because you didn't run this.
I think it's even hard for us, like the racers that do this, the recap. It's hard for us to even speculate while watching y'all's because we didn't experience that. Like we have a little more insight just as we race, but we can't know how y'all were living in that moment.
Yeah, but we also still speculate about our season, and like we can't. We talked about it today. Like, would we ever had a chance to send Joey and Kelsey home if we U-turn them? And we still.
I just think that everything, I'm the biggest believer, like everything happens for a reason. So especially with the race, like whatever's happened meant to happen and it just falls that way. Like that's just the way it is.
So. Amen.
What else? I'm looking through the episode.
The chat is like crazy and I can't
keep up with it. It's moving so fast I can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
That's what I
said. You know what bummed me out though? Corey got to do so much more of the fun, like spectacle tasks, like the flying down from the mountain or the volcano. And
but girl, you got to work with that hot little instructor upstairs.
Oh, God.
Oh, I was so mad about that. I was so jealous.
That was my question. Why did you have to stretch? Just like to make you loose so you're not jumping in the water so stiff, or?
I don't know. But
it was just meant.
They put him there.
They just put a really hot guy there to like touch us, and I was like, I'm not about to question it.
I got so bad. I'm like, really, Pat? I'm like, where was this guy when I was jumping off something?
I love how Bernie said, or it was Bernie. He was like, I guess the ugly guy had off today.
Right.
So great.
You know what? The question that we get the most is, where are the wigs?
Yeah, a lot of people are asking that.
Why didn't they show the wigs? You packed it, right?
Who knows? You'll have to stay tuned.
Well, I know. Wigs and onesies. We were expecting them at some point.
Anything can happen in China.
Oh, okay.
That's where they're all made, right? All the wigs.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, everything is made.
Everything's made in China. So we're coming to the final here. Tyler Oakley, what is it? You've had so many experiences in your life, from like hosting red carpets and being on Ellen. How does The Amazing Race stack up? Does it make your top 5 list of things you've done?
For sure. Obviously, of course, yes.
Imagine he was like, no.
It's like Jimmy Kimmel, Ellen, Lady Gaga. No, you don't accept it.
Yeah.
It was a truly eye-opening experience, and it made me, actually, no like sarcasm or anything, but it made me a different person. And I came back and I felt relieved and refreshed, and because so much of my life 24/7 is about being connected and being online, and it's a bit performative, and you always have to be, it's just like it's all encompassing always. And so to detach from that and go away for a month and see that life would go on without me doing all those things, like everything would be fine. Like when I was gone, I had videos still going up, podcasts still going up every day. My tweets were scheduled. Like everything was still happening without me there. And the first day it was so stressful, but then to go away for a month and like realize that I can get away, it like changed my entire perspective on what I should be doing. I was like, I need to unplug more. I need to travel without Instagramming it more. I need to live. And like the race did that for me. Sure.
When I got my phone back, I actually I wasn't relieved. I kind of didn't want it back yet. I kind of wanted to still live.
Alive.
So yeah, but like when you got your phone back, were you kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want to like face reality still, or you were like,
it was fun to see. It was fun to see what everyone was thinking, because we couldn't even see when our tweets went up when the cast was announced. We couldn't even see the response to that because we had already turned in our phones. So we had our tweets scheduled to say like, P.S. I'm leaving for a month to be on the race. And to have that kind of announcement go up and not being able to see an instant reaction like I usually can, like, felt crazy. But then when I got back, I was like, yeah, it's cool to see everyone excited and stuff, but like, I'm good. Like,
yeah,
it felt nice.
Yeah, it felt nice, right?
Yeah.
Corey said he didn't even want his phone back.
Yeah.
Corey was like so against coming home.
I loved it.
I just wanted to know if my dog was okay. Like, I didn't really care about the phone. Like you said, I liked being able to unplug, and I was having like fake tremors like the week that you're in sequester. Like I would hear what I thought was my phone vibrating, and then I'm like, no, I don't have my phone. But,
dude, that was the worst. It's like, you know when you're watching TV too and you're like, who's that actor? So I'd be like reaching for my
I know.
phone.
I would read like IMDb things and Google stuff, but
I will say, when what was I about to say? Oh my god, it just like dropped my brain.
Were you talking about like Googling when we were watching TV or something?
Oh, we knew that Adele was dropping an album, and so we were very conscious that like we were missing that cultural event. But that was the only thing that we really cared about.
Adele is dropping an album.
And so when we were like in random countries, we were like, we'd ask the locals like, "Have you heard the Adele album? Like, can you give us any insight to that?"
How are the songs?
And when we came back, Corey and I had a documentary coming out like that week, and so it felt like complete opposites of what I could be doing with my life, of like an adventure around the world, no technology, and then immediately when we got back, we had to like go walk the red carpet, and it just felt like I was like already right back into it. And then we did what was it? James Corden, I think, that week also.
Which is good, because when you come home and you're back to like regular life, for us it's like,
oh, it's boring.
Refreshing.
It's so boring.
Well, it was so nice though, because between Corden and the red carpet for our movie thing, Corey and I, like, we each lost like weight on the race, and so I felt like snatched and red carpet ready. I was like, yeah, I'll walk the carpet.
I said Amazing Race is the best diet ever. Like,
but then
workout.
But then we came home and like gained 10 pounds because we ate everything that we were missing when we were away. I couldn't even like maintain that weight loss.
That's so funny.
All right. We appreciate you taking your time. I know we normally cut stuff off here. You're welcome to stay as long as you want. You can hang out for the recap. You could bounce and hang out in the chat, whatever you want. Anybody got final questions, or if you have some comments or anything you'd like to say?
I would like to officially say that when the cast was announced, I was one of those naysayers. I was like, what are they doing? I have been so impressed with all of the racers, especially you and Corey. Like, from the moment I watched that live feed, Krista vouched for me. Like, I was sitting there being like, that's a team to watch out for. That really is.
Thank you.
Dead.
You know, I feel like we had, and this is like the first worldist problem of all time, but I feel like we had a kind of uphill battle with superfans that just, I think it stemmed from a feeling of exclusion And with the theme, it meant that they couldn't be a part of it because they didn't fit that mold. And so right off the bat, there was kind of this animosity toward our cast where, like, how dare you just get handed this? When in reality, like, we still had to apply. We still had to go through that whole experience.
Of course, yeah.
And there were, I think, probably like 50, 60, 70, 80 teams that they were going whittling down from. And so none of us knew for sure that we were ever going to make it. And so we were just as like excited and, you know, anticipating it as much. And I've been really happy with how the season has turned out. I don't know how, and I've seen kind of like on Facebook, like people have been like, I hated at the beginning, but I don't hate many people now.
I think
it's been strong the whole time.
Yeah. In the beginning, I feel like a lot of people were hesitant, and they did the whole thing like with our season too. Like, they're not regular. I'm not watching them, but slowly, I think the comments have gotten just more and more positive, and people are understanding more that you guys are real people. They always say like normal people. We want normal people. Well, define like a normal person.
Well, it's just like
you all are,
and when people are like craving the diversity of the of a cast, when you look at our cast, there's people of all ages, like from teens to 60s. There's people that have all types of relationships, people from all types of racial backgrounds, and although we all have a Twitter account, like, we come from different parts of that industry. And then more often than not, the teammate that's not the social media talent has this crazily, like, completely different world in life that they have, like whether they're a doctor or a stay-at-home mom or a choreographer or this or that. It's like, we are a really diverse cast, and I think the box of, you know, social media season kind of put us in that box. And I mean, even the producers and the interviewers, when we were doing like our interviews after each episode, they were like, so how much do you miss your phone? Like, trying to get those sound bites out of us. All of us were like, this is like, we're fine. We were adults. We know how to like put down our phone. I think they wanted us to be a little bit more like helpless without our internet, but we were not. That's not how we were.
Well, I'm going to ask you the question that we get asked most. Would you do an All-Stars?
Maybe.
Well, what if they won?
Even if they won, I mean, we had winners doing All-Stars before. So even if you won, would you do an All-Stars if they asked you?
Corey and I would definitely be very interested in an All-Stars. Mainly so that we can show people that just because we made it this far in a social media season doesn't mean that things were dumbed down for us. We can still beat any other season.
Yeah, we get that too. Like, oh, well, we could never beat Misty and Jim, or,
yeah, right.
You know,
I would love to race against Misty and Jim.
Yeah, I know. So.
I would love to race against other teams that I love and look up to or enjoyed watching, or like personalities, and see how.
Justin, that's no one in this group, Justin. No one in this group.
I would love that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that would be fun to race against you. So I'll see you at season 30.
Oh, you'll be first eliminated. It'll be cute.
You don't have that much pull, brother.
Kidding.
Anybody else have any questions before Tyler gets disconnected? No.
Wow. Justin
Tyler, very
protective with his army.
So there could be a wig in the future. That's all I'm concerned about.
There
could be.
Corey and I packed the wigs for in case we would ever have a moment when we needed to cheer each other up.
Yes.
And so far on the race, things were good. And the only moment when I was thinking I need to bust out the wig is if Corey's up on stage wearing that Georgian wig dancing. I need to be in the audience wearing a wig in solidarity.
But your bag was gone.
But yeah, my bag was gone. But up until this moment, yeah, we haven't had a moment. We did a lot of like in the hotels. When you're stuck in the hotel for 40 hours, we would sometimes bust out the wigs and like. But who knows? The wigs might see the cameras soon.
Wait, did you guys have twin beds too, like we did, and they were like really weird, like small twin beds together pushed? Or
sometimes.
Why did we have that all the time?
I don't know.
I was like, we had separate beds sometimes. Like in Argentina, our beds were separate.
Yeah.
It was so creepy.
And both legs in Argentina, our beds were separate. Do I have a question? Yes. Well, it's like a quick one. What did you wish you packed in your backpack that you didn't bring?
The only thing I can think of is a counter.
Oh, see, we brought that and we didn't need it, but like on your season, you needed it.
And I don't think I ever needed it, but like when I saw Bernie and Ashley had one, I was like, oh, that's smart. But then again, Bernie and Ashley packed like the entire REI store, like they bought everything. So like, of course, they were gonna bring something. I was like, oh, that's kind of smart. But we packed really well, I think. I packed the right amount of layers, the right amount of clothes. The day one, I got rid of a pair of shoes. I got rid of like tons of shirts. Like, but I don't think I forgot anything important.
And what happened with that sunburn? What's going on?
Ooh. Oh my God. Well, we had started applying sunscreen Bali day one, like probably halfway through the day, and by then it was too late for everyone. We were all like so red. I think you're not thinking about it. You're running, you're racing.
Right.
And the reflection of water, and you're just not thinking about it. And then we were on that boat all night.
Now, was it moving or was it anchored when you slept on it?
It was still rocking.
It was rocking. It was like we were going through it.
Yeah, ours was anchored, and Chris was coughing and snoring.
But we sailed for a long time, and then they anchored, and that was like one of my favorite memories of the entire race. That night and the night in the Snake Temple when we stayed like in the temple.
Yeah,
like
you guys roughed it a lot.
We did kind of rough it. But those were the reason I loved it most was because when you're stuck in your hotel room, I love Corey to death, but when you're stuck with one person, you just want to talk to other people.
Right.
In those nights, we got to actually mingle with everyone. And on the boat, it felt like it just felt like a moment of vacation in the hardest month of my life.
Right.
Where we were just like relaxing and sunbathing and talking to our friends and like learning about each other and that was we actually got to like really get to know each other that night. That was really nice.
Corey said he shared his Dramamine.
I shared all my sunscreen and Corey shared all of his Dramamine, and we were like, you'll remember this when a U-turn is coming.
They're like, yeah, all right.
All right. It's time to get to our recap.
Okay.
Tyler, do you want to hang out or do you want to go? It's up to you.
Well, be honest. Is it obnoxious if I hang out? Like, you guys do your thing.
No.
It's never obnoxious.
I'll chime in if you need me.
Perfect. All right, so let's do this. All right. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
I got to get my little iPad going here. All right. Season 28, episode 10 starts off with a nice full recap, full intro. In episode 10, that's right, we're still jealous that we didn't get full recaps after episode 4.
One of these weeks I'll drop that, Justin. You'll just let it go.
No, we're not going to drop
Never.
it. My mom is still screaming about it too.
So all of the castmates slept on the boat, and we found out that the snorer of the group is Brody.
Doesn't surprise me, actually.
He seems like a snorer.
He looks like one. I said before, Chris was the snorer, and he kept coughing all night.
Remember, he was like super, super sick.
And,
Logan!
So Tyler and Corey leave at 7:45, where they have to head to the island of Nusa Lebogan and use a snorkel, dive down, grab your clue from one of the 3 clue boxes. There's not really much drama going on behind the scenes with the boat. There was some drama. I mean, there was some cool behind-the-scenes clips of the people on the boat bonding, like Tyler was just talking about. We didn't have too many of those times. We had probably 2 or 3 times where we actually got to talk to each other and bond throughout the whole race. And they didn't show any of them in our extra clips. Or hanging out in the church and hanging out by the pool. We never got to any of that stuff.
I'm so jealous that you guys have pictures too. I know we have a whole season. Everyone always says, but still, like the pictures. I'm
the behind
the
picture
person.
Stuff.
I'm so jealous of that.
Sherry and Cole were the ones that took the most pictures and vlogs and stuff.
I wish I don't have one picture.
I think there's a bonus video though of Sherry recording Cole jumping.
Yes,
and it's the most like heartwarming.
I know.
It's like that's what the race is about: is seeing this person that you're so connected with, like do the things that they never thought they could do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a note that I made. I love how Cole had a chance to overcome his fears because I know he was avoiding it, and like I tried to avoid too as much as I could heights because I'm terrified. But getting the chance to bungee jump, I'm still terrified of heights. But getting a chance to do it, it was an incredible feeling that I was able to accomplish that fear. And I think for Cole, it's the same thing. As much as he probably wanted to avoid it. It was a chance for him to overcome something. It was a chance for his mom to see him overcome that and be proud of him.
Yeah,
so
now he could say he did it.
Those are the moments that I think the race really is made of, like doing those things that you would never in a million years do because you're too scared to do them.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. And the race starts, all the teams leave within 13 minutes of each other, so it's very tight finishing.
So close.
And I will say, even though I hate being that team that's always like, well, here's an excuse, but they did not know how to get us off the boat. And so when we ripped our clue, we jumped in our little boat, and our person started like going away from our boat, and we were like, we need our crew, we need our camera person, we need our, like, I was like, oh my god, we have like a couple minutes lead, and this is like, y'all are being messes.
So they counted that as the time before you threw.
Oh.
Corey was like flipping his shit.
And like no one ever knows that because it's so like behind the scenes. So whatever happens with the crew, it's so like irritating.
It was a similar thing with when we were coming into the boat in the end of the last episode. They didn't know how to get us on, and so they show us doing circling a boat and being like, "Why'd you do that?" And we're like, at home, here we are like, it's because they didn't know how to get us on the boat.
I was laughing so hard. You guys were paddling around the whole boat.
And eventually, we all jumped in with our microphone packs, and the crew were like, right? Yeah, the crew were like, you did what? And we were like, they told us to just jump in.
So Tyler and Corey show their terrible tan lines as they head off. Kurt and Brody head there, and they get there last.
Can I say something real quick? Bernie, Ashley, Sherry told Dana, Matt, I didn't realize they were like a minute apart leaving the mat, so they were super close that last leg, and I didn't realize that. I kind of thought there was a little bit of spread. Those teams were literally a minute apart.
I felt like they made it look like that, like in the last episode, maybe to make like they weren't so close, but as they were.
Oh, I think they did it on purpose.
Right.
So all the teams had to jump into the water, dive down. There's 3 boxes, and inside those boxes there's a cylinder it's clear, it's yellow, and some teams picked up the cylinder.
It's yellow and black.
It picked up the cylinder that was in the clue box. It looks like every other clue box they've ever opened, and we're kind of confused.
You know what? I think sometimes it's overthinking because I'm a very big like overthinker, and if I like saw it, maybe I would have been like, wait, this doesn't look like a clue. Like you just, when you're in that like state, you're not thinking about it, so it was something different than looking at it. Is that why you think maybe they couldn't figure it out?
Like if you like dissect, you're talking about Matt and Dana. Let's just be honest. You're talking about Matt and Dana.
Yeah.
So if you really dissect what they're doing, like they're talking and they're getting onto the boat with the clue, and they're like, it. Like the whole time they're like, I don't know if this is it. So like they're doing all the right things, but I think it's just edited in a way to make them look dumb. And I just don't think that's fair on them because, like, if you really look at it, like, they got the clue. Matt was, like, yelling to Dana that I got the clue. They go to the boat, and they're just like, I don't know if this is the clue.
You think so?
I really do. Like, when I went back and watched it a second time, that's what I got the feel from when I watched it a second time.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
But didn't Cole not realize? Cole didn't realize either at first.
Yeah. And neither did well, this is when Kurt and Brody got there last, but you could see their athletic ability. They glide through the water. They flew through the water. They figured out the clue from Dana and Matt saying, is this it? They figured it out, grabbed the clue, left Dana and Matt there.
They got it and left. They bounced.
Was it hard to snorkel without the life vest? Because I know that it's like Dana was saying.
I don't know.
You told me you don't, but
Corey was already like at the bottom of the ocean by the time I flopped into the water. So and he's like, I got it. I'm like, well, then why did I get in? Like, so and like for us, it was just like in and out. We really had an advantage though because when you're further back in the group, there's less things to find. There's less clues in the boxes. So we had no problem with it at all.
Right.
And Corey wrote something. Did you notice Bernie and Ashley jump in right next to a clue box and swim to another one? I did. And the cameramen are really good about catching those moments.
They love that.
They did it with Krista with that whole goldfish. Like she was like kicking around with it. They love those.
They did it with us too with the freaking App and U Street.
Ugh.
But it was like the same shot from like 20 different angles.
I know.
That was next to it.
Right there.
So after everybody gets the clue, they have to head to the Pura Puche stairway and put on a sarong and enter the temple and find the dancing monkey to get your next clue. So to answer the question from earlier, in order to enter the temple, I guess it's part of the ritual to put the sarongs on, both guys and girls. No?
I guess.
I don't know. What was the question the girl said? It was so cute.
She wanted to know why they were wearing the sarongs.
I kind of figured it was for, like, not religious, but like a spiritual reason, like how you take your hat off in a church and things like that.
And this is when we get the quote of the episode.
Beautiful. They were not sarongs. They were definitely. They were straight.
And then Corey's like, I hate you.
I think that should definitely have been the title rather than Dance Monkey. Come on.
Agreed.
Monkey dance or dance monkey?
Either way, it's neither one of those versions.
I said Matt and Dana need to make up the monkey dance and let it go viral. Let's do it.
That's perfect. Well, and if they don't, then you guys do it. Let's go.
Also, Dana had a funny quote. Corey just said it in the chat. Only the mean chickens are left.
Yeah.
We were like, that should have been the title.
Yeah,
that is a good one.
We're going to get to that, how she kept saying Mr. Chicken. She's like obsessed with animals. It was so cute.
So this was just pretty much a route info that wanted to get the cast to drain some energy and run. It was pretty straightforward, not really a hard thing to do. And
that monkey was so obnoxious.
I love how Dana was like, stop!
That was really cool.
He was so annoying.
Hated the monkey. I think that it was a lot of very tall steps. And it was like a workout. And plus, it was a sweaty day. It was so muggy. And then after very little sleep and dehydrated on the boat, it was hard to go up those steps.
Now I remember what you're talking about, how close you were to Bernie and Ashley, because there was a shot when you get
of us running down together.
Together.
You guys were running down together. So now that I'm thinking about it, you were literally.
And we had asked them, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" Like we were asking each other what each detour we were thinking, and Corey says that he could always tell what challenge Sherry and Cole were gonna do, and so we had a good feeling that everyone was gonna pick that the coconut one.
Well, I had noticed how like people didn't change into the bathing suits. Like Dana just had on, it looked like a bathing suit top and her pants. Sherry didn't change at all, and I was telling Justin, I said, you know, like if it's really hot, you kind of want to stay in your wet clothes because it keeps you somewhat cool.
Totally.
Yeah.
So the detour choice was Harvest or Haul, and Haul. You had to carry 50 coconuts and 4 chickens across a bridge, only using your hands.
Right. Don't try and talk like me.
Listen, I had to go to school for months to take diction classes to lose it. And
I'm a speech pathologist with an accent, so that doesn't make sense.
And in seaweed, you had to use a canoe and guide it across a course and collect seaweed in a boat and lay it across a mat, enough seaweed to cover the entire mat. Everybody chooses Haul. Diana and I would have chose Haul. What about you guys?
I think we would have chose Haul because Mom just loves chickens. I don't know if you know that about her, but Mom raised chickens through her adult life. So the moment she saw chickens, she would have been down for that. So I think we would have ended up doing Haul.
I feel like I would have done the opposite for some reason, and now, like looking back, that would have been like a horrible choice. But I just think I never held a chicken in my life, and I feel like they're so feisty that I would have been like Dana, probably freaking out and getting all the mean ones.
I was terrified of the chickens. When we were going to it, I was like, Corey, you're holding all the chickens. I'm not touching one of them.
Like, they scare me. And then 50, I was like, did he say 15 coconuts or 50? And I was
50
like,
coconuts.
What? Yeah, that's why I was like, I'm so surprised that I was like, wow, everybody really chose that one. They were going for it. So I think originally I might have picked the other one. Wow. But how did you just assume that it was further away, you said?
I think there was something about it, I don't know what the whole thing said in the additional info and everything, but there was something about it that me and Corey and Bernie and Ashley were both like, that seems further away. I don't know why.
Corey said that Friday night you guys asked Brody, and Brody said the seaweed took longer. So
you did make the right choice.
Yeah, you guys made the right choice.
Yeah.
And so the object of this task is simple. You grab 4 chickens and grab 50 coconuts using only your hands and take.
So simple.
Yeah, so simple. You just take them across a bridge and put them in a basket. How hard could it possibly be? Well, you couldn't use your shirts, but we did notice 2 people using some secret techniques. And I don't know if people picked up on this or if it was done knowingly.
because Matt like had 7, and we couldn't figure out why.
Of all the people, of all the guys, you would think that can carry the most coconuts, you'd probably think Kurt Brody because they're huge, Cole because he's so muscular, but no, it's skinny little Matt carrying 7 coconuts.
Listen, dancers are athletes, baby.
I was gonna say, I don't think he's skinny. Have you seen that dude? Like, he's ripped.
Yeah.
Matt is a beast, I will say. He's not skinny.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why he was able to carry 7. It wasn't because he was strong. It's because he had the technique. He put his fanny pack in front of him. The fanny pack was full, and he was leaning him on the fanny pack to balance
He
him.
had like 2 on the fanny pack, and then like 3 windowed those, and then he had like 2 more or 3 more up top. So he kind of. Who else used that too?
Yeah, there was one other person that had the fanny pack, but their fanny pack wasn't as packed, so it didn't hold the coconuts as much. Did Tyler?
Matt was for sure carrying the most the entire time. I don't know who else realized this, but Corey and I could. The only strategy we had with the coconuts was certain colors had more water in them, and even if they were bigger, they were going to be lighter based on the color, not based on the size. And I think everyone was going for the smallest coconuts to carry the most. But if you can't carry that heavy of a load, it's like it doesn't. You're going to drop them. You know what I mean? Especially after 30 minutes. So that was our strategy.
That's interesting.
So that was the only strategy difference that we saw there. Corey, he says, "How are we going to catch a chicken?" And Tyler says, "Just be kind to them." Was that your strategy going in? Just be nice and they'll just come over to you?
There was, I think this
it's all that energy.
During the audition week, you know how you have to take those tests and 5-hour, personality quizzes?
Yeah.
There was one question that when Corey and I were taking it, we both laughed, we were giggling at our seats to each other about it. And it was, would you ever tease an animal? And every episode on the race, anytime we came across live animals, we were like, should we not tease that animal? And so when Corey was like, how do you catch a chicken? I'm like, well, you surely don't tease it. You have to be kind to it.
Yeah, that questionnaire, I think I wrote down the number of questions for each of the tests, and it was between 1,300 and 1,500 questions on all those tests.
She answered the question do you talk to yourself? Or
Tiffany!
I answered them honestly, Justin, okay?
Tiffany,
I talk to myself.
No,
but there were times you feel you were crazy. You talk in verses to yourself.
It was do you see things?
It was do you steal? And I have a tendency, if I see a cool pen, I'll take it.
Tiffany was doing the same thing.
Wait, listen. And I was like, Justin, I said that I stole. And he's like, why would you say that? I'm like, well, I don't think like that.
Why would you write you talk to yourself and it talk back? You have conversations with yourself.
I don't talk back to myself.
No, why?
Some of them were a little bit subjective, but then one of them's do you want to kill your mother? And I'm like, okay, well, at least I passed that question.
Yeah. I was like, Justin, we're not going to not make it because I said that I talk to myself and I steal. If they ask me,
no, they let go of people after that IQ test. That's
yeah,
how
they
people
did.
got eliminated.
I steal pens.
Yeah, well, there were some teams that didn't show up the next day after that test.
I know.
I was like, they tease animals, Corey.
The chat room is having a blast with that.
Animals.
So back to the chickens. The earlier teams seem to have a great advantage with the chickens because they can select the most docile of the chickens and just get in and get out. And it seems
whatever. Just go tackle the damn chicken. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Just tackle the damn chicken.
Corner it.
This from the southern boy, sure. City folk see chickens and run. They're not going to tackle them.
I only see pigeons. I don't even see chickens.
It seems like not too many teams had that big of an issue with the bouncy bridge. A couple teams seemed to drop their coconuts, but after a while, the bouncy bridge didn't play that much of an effect. I like that it was a bouncy bridge.
The bouncy bridge, you could tell some teams were realizing it was bouncy when they were passing other teams with coconuts.
Did you bounce on purpose?
I don't know who did. They didn't anybody doing it, so I'm just going to have to assume nobody did it.
I was jumping up and down.
Get it? I love it. So Sherry puts on the sweet aura, and she calms down the chickens. I love these moments when Sherry puts on these little motherly moments. They remind me of our season with Mama D. A lot of Mama D's quotes and crazy stuff. The stuff she's remembered for is her, acting crazy and doing her dances and all that stuff. But the things we remember her for is she's such a sweet woman.
She was everybody's mom.
Mom, and I have a feeling that Sherry was just this person for your cast.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we were obsessed with him, and to a lot of us, because Cole was so young, he was like a little brother to all of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was drinking milk at the premiere party. So we were all at the bar, and he had milk.
Did he really have milk?
He did.
He's 19.
He really had milk?
Yeah.
He was 19. He can't drink.
Well, why didn't he have like Diet Coke or something? Why was he drinking milk?
You see those muscles?
Yeah.
All right.
Those
Well,
are
hey,
Diet Coke muscles. Those are like milk muscles.
That's milk right there.
It was probably
James Earl. Those are milk muscle.
It was muscle milk.
I love Dana's quote here. She's like, "I'm from New York. The only way I know how to hold a chicken is when it's cooked."
Exactly.
There's another quote I loved of her too. Like Dana was cracking me up during this challenge. That one time when she was like coddling the chicken, she's like, "Hey, Mr. Chicken, look how nice I am." Shut up, Matt. Seriously, shut up.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Chicken, shut up, Matt.
I love it. I live for Dana.
Our camera guy was like, "So how'd you like the challenge of manhandling cocks and nuts?" I was like, I don't think I could say that in an interview. We say a lot, but we don't say that.
That's awesome. So Dana sits there and sweet talks the chickens the whole time. She snaps a little at Matt, but she's really nice to the chickens, so that should win us some points. Tyler and Corey finish first. And as they do on most tasks, they power through. They get through to this one, get to the double U-turn board, and this is when there's a little drama. You can see Tyler definitely wants to use it. Corey is a little hesitant, but he's kind of going through the thought process in his head. How long were you guys standing at that U-turn board?
Maybe, oh God, Corey, 2 minutes?
Oh,
wow. I feel like
that's kind of long.
Yeah.
A minute at least. Like before, we were just like talking it out with the camera people, and explaining the situation. We're here first at the U-turn board, and I will say the U-turn board was confusing, like how it was set up.
Yeah.
If I were Sherry and Cole showing up to a full U-turn board where it's all like a jumbled mess of pictures, we were like, it's complicated. Like I was like, I don't know if people are gonna get what we're doing.
I love how Cole's like, well, our faces aren't on here, and this is really confusing, so we're just gonna go.
Let's go.
Corey says we were there for a minute. Okay.
That's some thinking to it. But are we talking about the U-turn? Because I have opinions.
Get to it. Let's go.
Okay, I have opinions about this. Because so many people lost like their shit on Facebook and social media. I'm sorry, they did. Like they were losing their minds. And
it was crazy.
It was crazy, and I think it was the smartest move that they could have made at this moment. Like, if you think to what Tyler and Corey did, Brody and Kurt at this point had the highest average of the teams this season. Like before this lead, their average was 2.3. They were like leaps and bounds above everyone at this point. Right? They had won like over half the legs. Their average was the highest. So you had a clear advantage at this point. So if I'm Tyler and Corey and I'm looking at the 4 other teams, I have Bernie and Ashley, who's right at my little bum, that if I U-turn them, they're just going to U-turn someone else and live.
Right.
And they're coming back.
They're going to survive.
100%.
They're going to survive. Like, they're going to U-turn Sherry and Cole, and I'm sorry, I love them, but they would have U-turned them, and Sherry and Cole would have been out. So what they did is they took advantage of the moment and got a strong team out. And I don't care if it's your favorite team, if like Brody and Kurt are your favorite team, it is a smart move. It is not a vindictive move. It is a smart move in a game.
It was tough for all of us because we were all very close with each other, and it's super easy if you hate someone and you don't get along with them and they're strong. Like, of course you're gonna use it. But we had spent the previous night with Brody and Kurt hanging out, laying on the boat, actually really enjoying each other, and the whole couple weeks leading up to it, really getting to know each other and enjoying each other. So like, how do you do that to a friend? That was tough for all of us, no matter who was gonna get to the U-turn board.
No matter what anybody says, it was the perfect play of a double U-turn board. There is no better way ever in the history of the Amazing Race to play that U-turn any better than how it was played.
We tried.
We tried.
We tried so hard. When we were in Africa and Justin and Diana were off on the side getting interviewed, we had like, I'm not kidding, a 20-minute conversation of trying to do exactly what you guys did, and we were trying to plan for 2 people to get there.
That's so funny.
And
because we never even planned it. We never even discussed it.
That's what's crazy about it. And like how things happen, like it didn't even work out any way, shape, or form. How it happened, and you guys just got there and did it. So that's how you know. Like, you can't plan anything.
There was no time to discuss it because we were all a group together, always like leading up to that moment.
Right.
Whether it was on the boat or there were no moments when you could kind of sneak away and talk to a team. And so it was very like, okay, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen.
Did you get to talk to them after everybody checked in at the mat? Because I know, like, most times, no. Okay. I wasn't sure because we had this awkward thing when, like, we U-turned Chris and Logan and they made it through.
Oh, they so set you up for that.
Of course they did. But, like, they let James come over and say goodbye to us. And then they had, like, Chris and Logan standing there and we had to walk right past them. Yeah. We're like, you know, of course, all the cameras are still on.
We didn't know if it was going to be a non-elimination. We thought, okay, well, we've had enough non-eliminations and continuations. Like, there's no more. But you never know. You don't know. But then when you the next morning when we all had breakfast at the hotel, it was kind of a buffet situation, and Zach and Rachel were staying at the same hotel because Sequester was in Bali,
right.
And they hadn't gone over to the other group with the other Sequester. They were still with like the main group. So right. Zach and Rachel were there, and obviously you can't talk to anybody. And Brody and Kurt were there, and Brody and Kurt did not even look at anybody.
Oh.
And like we were like getting food next to everyone. It was just like it was
awkward.
Breakfast is always
awkward. Defense, like I'm sure they were just bitter in the moment. Like
I did not blame them at all. I was like, I get it. Like I would be like.
Because this is the like Mom and I went out on lead 10, and it's tough. It's like you made it so damn far to get out. So like it was a smart game move by y'all. It's like the smartest move y'all could have done. But it sucks for Brody and Kurt. Like I feel for them because I literally know what they went through.
I think the people at home were most upset because they don't like U-turns, not because it was used in any way or anything like that. I think fans just don't like U-turns, and they think it's unfair. And
yeah, but when you guys didn't, this is what I don't get. Like you said before, when you didn't use it, everybody was flipping out that you guys didn't use it, and you were too friendly, and it's not a competition. So it's like
I think it's based on who you send home too. I think it's based on who you send home.
No.
Like people got upset when Tanner and Josh went home, but people really didn't get upset.
Everybody did, but no one. All of a sudden, everybody likes whoever goes home.
Right, of course.
I'm not watching anymore. My favorite team went home. Everybody's favorite team always gets sent home.
But I will say, I think you're right, though. If a super villain goes home and you've hated them all season, like it's the most brilliant use of a U-turn. But like you know, everyone's gonna have fans.
Unless they over.
My only problem with the U-turn situation is, I think a U-turn should be survivable, and the rest of this episode. It was kind of like it was you'd go, you do the thing, you're done. Like it wasn't. They had no chance. And from a viewer's perspective, I want to at least feel like they could come back.
Yeah, no, it was definitely tough to come back from. But I think if the detour was kind of switched up and everybody didn't go to the same one, I think we could have seen some switch up. We could have seen some switch up, maybe. I don't know. So it's hard. It's hard for the producers to plan it out. You can't plan a perfect race. There is not one. But we will try. After this season's over, that's going to be one of the shows that we do. The 4 of us are going to plan our own race. Perfect
we are?
race. Yes.
You know what? I meant to tell you guys earlier. When I was growing up in my hometown, in my high school, all of the drama club, I was in drama club, obviously, duh. But all of the drama club would put on our own versions of Big Brother. We would like have the house for the weekend and have all these challenges. We did Amazing Race Okemos, Michigan, like 3 or 4 seasons in a row. I won one of the seasons, and I still have the picture from it. I'm gonna like tweet it out, but
yeah, you have to put that out.
This was something that like I grew up with, and like. And I feel like anybody that's run the race now or been on any show now, like, you just want to keep playing like that. Like, and Corey did, like, I'm sure he told you, did his Big Brother weekend for his birthday, and we should do something.
We just watched our first season of Big Brother because we went to Reality Rally and we met a bunch of people from Big Brother 15, 16, 17. So We started with Big Brother 15. We just like literally binge watched it for.
Who did you meet?
Spencer McRae was there from 15.
They met Donnie from 16, and pretty much the whole cast of 17 was there with
Yeah,
Jack,
like
Meg.
Becky,
There were like
Jason.
Mike Holloway from Survivor. He was there, like one of the coolest person you could ever meet.
Corey and I really wanted to go to that next year.
Yeah, it's a really fun time.
Yeah, it's really fun. We're going to one in August
in Florida. Hearts of Reality.
Hearts of Reality.
It's for kids.
It's for terminally ill kids, so it's one of those pull at your heartstrings ones, but we're really looking forward to it. All right.
That would be fun.
Let's get back to the recap here.
Sorry.
So, no, there is no sorry. As long as it's entertaining and the people that are watching enjoy it, then we're doing a good job. Donnie, yes, if you watch Big Brother, Donnie is one of the best human beings I've ever met, ever on Earth. Donnie, I love him. Big Brother 16. I'm definitely watching just because of him. All right. So Tyler and Corey finished first. They arrived at the double U-turn board, caused some drama when they U-turned the big boys. But they need some help if it's going to work. And they didn't plan it. They didn't talk about it. Bernie and Ashley come up to the board, and being the professional gamers that they are, they know strategy. And the perfect strategy right now is to block up the board, so turning this double U-turn board into a single U-turn, and pushing the strongest team in the race, who's already in the back, even further back. Perfect gameplay, and if anybody has a problem with it, you're not really a fan of the gameplay of the show. You're a fan of other things of the show, because this was perfect gameplay.
I will say, everyone at home was... Sorry, I'm going to interrupt again.
No, go for it.
Everyone was kind of saying, like, even though it's a thing you can use, I don't like it when teams do use it, but, like, when you're in the race, you have to use the resources that are available to you. And if there's Express Pass, that's a resource. If there's a road, switching, your detour, that's a thing you can do.
And there's very few that you get, so you have to use what you have.
So and here's the thing, too. Like, there's only 5 teams. Only 5. Like, one of y'all is going home, so 20% of you have, like, a 1 in 5 shot. Like, so you need to do anything and everything you can, because... Let's say this example. Let's say y'all were like, no, we're not going to use the U-turn, and then y'all get to a roadblock that, Tyler, you can't do. Right. Then, like, you're going to get sent home. So, you can't win. You just can't win.
Especially, it's an opportunity to have a hand in who goes home, not just like, the last person. It's like you give some of those bottom teams a chance to stay in it, and you have the opportunity to send a strong team home, like happened this week.
And Africa, If the track stars would have used the U-turn, if they would have known that it was a continuation leg, they would have used the U-turn, and Krista and Tiffany would have got sent home at some point because of it.
When you can kind of have a say in who goes home, that changes your fate in the future. And when we saw that Sherry and Cole were spared after Dubai, at first we were like, oh, good, like, great, now we have to like get rid of a team again. We kind of thought, well, if anything, maybe Sherry and Cole going further will help us in the long run, and we shouldn't be thinking, team by team or episode by episode, but maybe Sherry and Cole coming back will send another team out sooner that's stronger or who we think is a bigger threat. So if you can get rid of a strong team, like, why wouldn't you?
Somebody made a comment and said, how do you call, Brody and Kurt, you turning Brody and Kurt unfair when they got the opportunity to skip a task? Like,
absolutely.
Both advantages that you use. One allows you to use it against somebody else, and one you are allowed to use it on yourself. So
then why have an express pass if you don't have a U-turn? Like, exactly. It kind of just doesn't make sense.
Tit for tat.
Yes, the link that Jenks is trying to post doesn't show up in chat. We'll post it on our Facebook page. Thank you so much, Jenks.
We were also wondering, and I want to ask you guys, who would you consider the bigger villain out of the 2 teams that used the U-turn? Is it the team that actually U-turned somebody and did something to them, or the team that
it would be the second
blocked
team.
Them from doing something else? I think Bernie, Ashley, and Corey and I were always, after that, we called each other Team Villain after that, because we were arguing who's the bigger villain.
Well, that's the funny thing, because I've seen most people were giving you guys the backlash, but if you really think about it, it's kind of, I'm agreeing with like the U-turn completely, but it's actually Bernie and Ashley that blocked it from anyone else using it. So really,
and their argument was they just turned it into a single U-turn.
Right. But that's not what it was.
And
so
and that's what I say. I'm like, but that's not what it was, girl.
That's not what it was.
Right, that takes the opportunity from
Yeah, it would be more them. But I love it, but it would be more them.
That takes the opportunity for anybody else to use it to save themselves away.
Yeah, so that's why I was surprised.
There's no way to get over it. You guys were the biggest villains, you jerks. No, you did the right move.
That's why when Bernie said, like, nobody can be mad at us, they'll just be mad at Tyler and Corey, and it's like, no,
but they didn't do anything.
They'll find a way.
Well, but I would say Brody and Kurt knew we were coming for them. But I think in the episode, Brody and Kurt even say, "Oh, we don't have to worry about what Bernie and Ashley will do with it." And I was like, "Oh, shit. Like they really locked up."
That was like us with the reporters. If the reporters would have got to any U-turn board before us, they would have U-turned us. At no point were we ever like disloyal to them. We thought that they were on our side the whole time and they were playing us. So you just never know. It's tough.
Here's the thing, though. When you're getting this close to the wire, and I know I'm like a repeat little parrot over here, when there's 5 teams left, there's no friends, and I'm sorry, like Tiffany and Trista are like my besties, but I'm sorry, if I'm U-turned or I'm trying to like survive to the next leg, it's about you and your teammate, and everyone else is kind of just
all bets are off. Yeah, all bets are off.
Bye, friends.
But I wasn't gonna U-turn you in India.
But here's the thing, if it was like, let's put an example out there. Let's say if it was a double U-turn and y'all were U-turned and we're the only team behind you, I can't fault you for U-turning us.
Right.
To keep it from right.
Of course, that's how it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Like it's all about keeping yourself in the game and keeping yourself.
I'm not about who was that team. Oh my God! Don't even get me started. And I'm sure like super fans love them, but who was that team, Corey? That bugs me. That dad.
Oh, it's Connor and Dave.
The fit that they were throwing after somebody U-turned them, I wanted to be like, you would have done this. Like literally, shut up. Like it blew my mind. And I was just happy that I felt like in our season we all understood that the U-turn is part of the game.
And yeah, you didn't use the first one. Nobody used the first one, so you have to use this next one.
I mean, like if you get bratty because you got U-turned, I'm like, sorry, you just don't get that that's part of the game.
Well, that's why I actually loved like watching Kurt and Brody, because the way they did that detour, they were so positive. They just did it. They like banged it out, and like that's kind of what you want to see. You don't want to see, well, we're going home now anyway. Like they never once said that, because anything could happen. Kind of like this one, like you said, was so set up that you couldn't get a lost taxi, but you just never know. So I like that they did that, and they weren't like little brats about it. Like
all of us knew that, you know, we still had the roadblock, and anything can happen, and anybody can get lost, and like if one team gets lost, you're fine. So like they knew that they were still in it.
Yeah, well, season 24. As far as you know, season 24 is what you're referring to, and that's why people hate season 24. One, because Connor did all the damn roadblocks after, like, he did like 8 roadblocks or something like that, and 2, because Dave was bitching and complaining the whole time. They were so loved the first time and ruined the whole All Stars, and they're the only reason why we won't have an All Stars in season 30 if we don't. So
I just want to shout out to Michael Jenks, because he donated to our Hearts Reality fan page, and that was very generous of you, so thank you.
Yeah, Jenks, we know you're going through it right now. You don't need to. We really appreciate it, though. Thank you for all you do, man. You're a really, really good dude. All right, so let's finish this off so we can start talking about regular stuff. So Tyler and Corey finished first. No, there is no sorry. So after choosing to U-turn them, there's they get to the drama. Let's get to the roadblock. Everybody's upset or confused when they get to the roadblock board. Most people are confused, and when I looked at it, I was confused. Yeah. The U-turn board.
It looked Survivor-esque.
Even ours was confusing. Tiffany was like, "Oh my God, Logan and Chris U-turn Justin and Diana," and I screamed at her. I'm like, "What are you talking about? No,
that would never happen in a million years."
It's really confusing when you get there and you just see all the pictures. It's like that's why I understand Sherry and Gold.
It was very Survivor-esque, this episode, especially with the Mark the Chicken thing going on, and the chicken episodes here, and the tasks, and the way that the board was turned up. So I think that they're doing a little crossover. I like it. All right, so Corey hopes that Bernie and Ashley will make the right decision. They eventually do. Everybody gets to the board confused. Cole and Sherry confused. Matt and Dana confused. Kurt and Brody, they know exactly what's happening. They get it, and they go to the next task. They power through the task with very little problems, and again, a great mindset. Like, they could have just given up at that point. They could have had that negative mindset, but they powered through and made it a race again. So I have a lot of respect for Kurt and Brody when it comes to that, because that could have been one of those like gut-punching moments that just take the life out of you.
Like when Tanner and Josh had a speed bump and a U-turn.
Yep, as the first thing is first task, and it took him out of the whole leg, and because it was the first task. And you never know what could have happened. So after this, you have to make your way to the Panday Curly paddleboard shop on the beach of Mushroom Bay, and this is where the roadblock clue is waiting for you, and it's who is feeling blue.
That's tough.
Yeah, like
I thought you like paint yourself blue and.
it's a paddleboard shop, and who's feeling blue?
Obviously water, but that's all.
We knew it was water.
Yeah, so there's no way for the people saying that, oh, Cole shouldn't have done it because he was scared of heights.
No,
there's no way for him to know.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, and they do this on purpose, and unless you're a super fan and you can figure out everything, you can't.
I don't even think a super fan can. I think there's literally no way to figure those things.
Why do people still say, why didn't so-and-so do it? If you're a fan
they don't get it.
Don't you know?
Because they're dumb.
I'm a huge super fan. We're at the site of the first ever roadblock of the gorge swing. The name of the thing is Who Wants to Gorge Yourself?
Right next to a cafe.
But we're at a cafe.
I was like, you're doing it, Justin. I'm not eating anything. Oh, wait, time out. Speaking of eating things, Tyler, do you have race dreams at all?
Oh, God, I was just talking
immediately
about
after the race, yeah. And during the race especially. No, not so much.
Okay, you'll have them.
Yeah,
you'll have them after because I didn't have them really during the race. I have them at least once or twice a month now, and I had one last night, and I woke up and Justin, the dog was upstairs, and he came up, and I'm like, Justin, I grip, I'm like, I was just having a race dream, and it was
James Earl. What'd I just tell you on the phone?
Yeah. Chris had nightmares last night.
I had 2 race dreams a week.
I've had race dreams, and this one was like an eating challenge, and I had to do it, and it was weird because my janitor from school was there, and he was helping me. He was helping me cheat because he's such an amazing race fan, so he was helping me drop the food as he brought it to me, so I didn't have to eat as much. But man, I wake up and it's so real. It is a scary thing.
That's so funny.
I've had race dreams where we're head to head against Kelsey and Joey for the end again. It's very intense and not fun.
Oh well.
You'll get them. They're coming.
Yeah, you'll
get
them.
them.
Yep. Absolutely.
Can I say, though, that going back to the little roadblock, Sherry was so adorable, though, when she realized, what was happening. It kind of broke my heart, because, you could tell that was super sincere from her perspective. Because she, right before, she's like, no, you do this. And then I think she felt horrible. It kind of broke my heart a little bit.
Yeah, but then I think in the end she was super proud of him that he got to do that, and she got to see it. I mean, it's a chance to see her son do something that he's not.
I think that's really scary for her mom too, because if my mom was with me and I was jumping off a cliff, my mom would probably.
I think this is another. I know that Sherry was worried when they got cast because he has 5 brothers and a dad, and they're all jacked, and she always thinks that any one of them would have been so much better a partner than she was. This is another part of the race that I think if he had any other partner inside of his family, he might have got freaked out and not have done this. So I think
do it already.
So I think, again, this is another way that points out that Sherry was Cole's absolute best choice for a partner for this race.
Definitely. Well, my mom saw the preview of me bungee jumping, and she's freaking out, screaming. And I'm like, Mom, I'm right here. I'm alive. I made it through. So, yeah, Sherry watching Cole is definitely a scary experience because that's her baby.
So the Who's Feeling Blue, you have to jump off a 40-foot cliff, which is 10 feet higher than the jump that season 27 had to do, by the way, and jump into the Blue Lagoon, and all you have to do is just get stretched out at the top by a hot lifeguard and jump in the water.
I will say it was a bit scary looking down and seeing how far it was, but also the water, I don't know if you could tell from the show, but it was not even just splashing, but thrashing around. And when you had to try to get onto the ladder to go up, it was hard to even get on the ladder because the waves were crashing. And so knowing that you were jumping down into it, it was that was the scary part to me. Not so much the heights, but because what if you get sucked down under, or all these things and we even had to put on these bracelets and anklets that did this sonar thing or something to keep sharks away.
They were shark. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That.
Damn.
So I was well, great. They're only for 2 of my limbs, not all 4.
There was one on one ankle, and I saw Brody couldn't get any of the stuff on. It was like OJ trying to put on a glove. Did you see the clip of him? He couldn't fit anything on. The vest was up to here. He couldn't fit it on his feet.
Well,
I'm like,
I love Brody was I do professional cliff diving, and then the way he jumped off the cliff, he just kind of
Did you?
He's the only one who didn't hit his ass.
He was like a ballerina. His
Yeah.
toes were pointed. I was like, oh. He had,
I've
like,
done professional cliff diving.
yeah, literally.
Ours was 35 feet, right, Krista?
The House of Dancing Water. Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
It's 30 to 35 feet. That's the one where
It is scary, though,
where Kelsey
Tyler.
broke a tailbone and two
That's
people
why you
got-
guys got stretched out.
That's probably why we got stretched out.
Thanks,
But even
Kelsey.
then, like all of us were beat up from it.
Yeah.
And if you didn't hear earlier, Tyler said that's where that huge bruise that he posted on his social media, the one on his leg.
Lifeguard, it was a little too stretchy.
Krista, you
Stretch
better
me out.
Ouch!
you
I
better
can't believe I made it.
hop on Tiffany's fashion blog because you got people wanting to know what eyebrow pencil do you use.
Everyone
what's your
keeps asking
lipstick
makeup
color.
stuff. I don't really, and it's not Kylie Jenner, so no.
Ugh, don't support the damn Kardashians,
Don't
you
do the
idiots.
Kardashian thing.
I want a Kardashian season of The Race.
Oh,
I'm kidding. I'm
Okay.
kidding.
yeah, put them on Survivor so I can watch them
Come
suffer.
through to give you
No, put them in the Hunger Games where they have to kill each other. Only one of them can come out alive.
Jesus, this is getting intense. What's happening?
Okay, so 40-foot cliff dives. All right, so people are worried that Cole is not going to jump off this cliff and that the U-turn is going to be wasted and that Kurt and Brody are going to make it back and it's all going to be Cole's fault. But Cole gets the support from his mother. He gets up on top and he powers through, making a nice little triumphant, like, hoorah. So it could have been another moment where, like a Kanan moment where his girl's not going to go down the slide and they just ruin it. But
That's all we could think of.
I could tell you guys were very nervous that he was going to.
By the way they were editing it, I was really afraid that that's what it was going to end up as. I was like, "Huh, what is about to happen here?" But nothing happened.
Yeah, I can't believe. I'm still like, she's just like, of all the people in the room, you would never think she'd be the one to be the
everyone's commenting
controversial.
on that about the Kardashians.
So,
Whatever.
Yeah.
Don't give them any more airtime, anyway.
So after jumping in the water, it's time to head to the pit stop. Make your way to the Baja Sandy Monument. And
This part, I don't think they show it, but how we're both in our boats, us and Corey, me and Corey, and then Bernie and Ashley, and we could see Bernie and Ashley coming up behind us, and they were like coming up, and it's slowly but surely catching up with us, and we can see them. And you know how I said Bernie packed everything? We can see Bernie with his monocular looking at us from like across the water. I'm like, of course he has a monocular like a pirate.
Wait, he didn't have two, he had the one.
He
He
I
had binoculars too, but
I
not
swear.
one.
I had the
I
binocular.
swear, Bernie and Justin are like spirit animals because Justin had the monocular. He just had one. And he was like,
Picture
I
like a
watched
pirate
it.
map
Yeah.
with like the binocular.
Arr. So it turns into a boat race. The boat race turns into a taxi race. The taxi race turns into a foot race. I mean, could it have been any more drama
Yeah,
for
you
the
can't write this
finale? A boat race to a taxi race to a foot race, and it's legitimately a foot race because you can see Bernie and Ashley and Tyler and Corey in the same scene on the stairs. So it can't edit that. You can't fake that. It's another rough finish, race for first, and I cannot believe first place for Tyler and Corey, and second place in a row, repeating the record set by Joey and Kelsey last year.
Could pass them. You never know.
And they could pass
another second.
They could get 6 and then win it all, and
They could get 7 seconds.
they could. So
can I give my little shout out to you know
Yes.
how much I have a girl crush on Ashley. That is established now. When she is getting out of the taxi and beasting up those stairs, I don't know if anyone else noticed. That girl was bounding up the stairs. I was impressed.
Great vocab
A
word.
little bit more of a girl crush every week.
We always say she's underrated. A lot of people don't talk about how strong she is.
Well, too, I loved how Bernie, when Ashley came back on the boat and he was like, "Thanks, guys, for keeping her safe," and I was like, "It's just the sweetest thing ever."
I know, that was
So cute.
yes, we're all worried about wondering about that final challenge and the memory challenge. We'll ask that as soon as we finish the
that
recap.
reminds me.
We'll get to it.
I know. All right.
All right, let's
I'll have to
finish.
write
Let's
it down.
finish strong so we can end this here and then talk
one
as
more
much as we
question.
want. All right. So Tyler and Corey get their 4th first place finish, which is a 7-day cruise to Alaska. Hell.
Woo!
If you want to trade that for a trip to Morocco, we're open to that. Bernie and Ashley finished right behind them and tied the record for consecutive second places. Matt and Dana, Sherry and Cole not far behind, all four on the mat at the same time, and finishing up in 5th place and being eliminated. The strongest team statistically of the season, Kurt and Brody, eliminated. But the good part is they get to spend some time with Blair, and
my mom's so cute.
That's the finale of Bloody as well, because once the show was over, so was Bloody. Spoiler alert.
Who knows, though? What if they came back as a team just as Bloody for All-Stars?
How would other people feel?
Yeah, I think, well, I don't think that's going to
happen. Kurt and Scott together.
Like they became BFFs.
They were buddies.
Yeah,
I'd root for that. I'd root for that.
That would be really great.
All right, so let's get to some of our James Earl. You got a seal clap you want to throw out there?
I do, but can I? Before we do that, Kurt, Corey was just asking for a stat update, and can I do that real quick? Because I have it pulled up on my phone. I think I know why Corey wants this stat update, but he deserves it. He deserves it.
He's like, let me hear it. Let me hear it.
So, like I said, we're still going from top to bottom because some eliminated teams have better averages.
What'd you call us?
What did I tell you? I have no idea what
the top and bottom joke. I'm done. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure that'd be a top and bottom joke, but you know, what else. Marty and Hayden, 9.5. Darius and Cameron, 8. Scott and Blair, 7.4. Aaron and Jocelyn, 7.2. Brittany and Jessica, 7. Sherry and Cole still moving up at 6.2. Zach and Rachel at 4.7. Dana and Matt, 3.5. Bernie and Ashley, 3.2. Brody and Kurt, now second place statistically for this season at 2.6, with Tyler and Corey leading the pack this season at 2.5.
That's why he wanted it.
Yeah, so they caught up. The good thing for us is even if they finish first at first, they won't be able to catch us. So,
Justin, you just have to ruin everything.
I know. Thank you. This is my life, okay?
Let them have their moment. Let them have their moment.
Oh, I'm sorry. If I could ever steal some shine from Tyler, come on, please.
Or me.
Who's getting the hair flip, Krista?
Yes.
Oh, well, James Earl didn't do a seal clap.
Oh, my seal clap? My seal clap this week is going to go to Cole because he did that challenge like a boss because it's something he did not want to do, and he didn't even hesitate, which I think is what you have to do when you do this race. Like, you have to go out of your comfort zone and tackle the challenges. So Cole gets my seal clap this week.
Yeah, Cole.
All right.
That was crickets.
So, Krista, who's getting your little flip, your hair flip?
My pony flip is going to Kurt and Brody because I said before how positive they were when they got U-turns and at the detour because it's so easy to become sour and negative, and I hate seeing that from people. I think it's really important to finish strong. It shows your character and what kind of people you are, so props to them for sticking to it at the end.
Sure.
Nice.
Diana, who is who's getting put in check right now, Diana?
I hate this, but
do it.
It's gonna have to be Dana just because. Wait,
there was some chicken.
Wait, no, the chicken was the funniest part. She was holding the chicken and she was like, "Oh, I'm so nice, I'm so nice," or like, "I'm so kind," or something. And then Matt said something and she's like, "Shut up, Matt." And I'm like, that's such great editing. So she's only getting the put in check because of good editing.
And Matt is going to get the super fan move of the episode for using his fanny pack to get a slight advantage over all the taller, more muscular competitors and carrying more coconuts than everybody else. So
Tyler, you should give a giggle. Who's your giggle?
Oh yeah.
My giggle.
Give it to you or Corey.
Who would get my giggle?
I feel like there's some weird undertones to that. Who would get my giggle?
I'm giving
the lifeguard.
I'm giving my giggle to the lifeguard.
Yeah.
For making it's whoever makes me blush, they get my giggle. The lifeguard today.
Okay, there you go.
So
All right, hold on. I have a question before we go.
No, we're not going anywhere.
Oh, okay. Did you have
We're
like
not
a
going anywhere.
book of notes? I know. I'm like, Justin, I do have papers to grade.
You can go. No.
Did you and Corey have like a notebook that you kept with things that you were keeping track of during the race? Because that's kind of important.
Yeah.
What were you putting in your notebook? Everything? Did you have?
Everything. Well, not everything. We were not crazy. Like some teams would like act like they're trying to hit a word count with like a number. And we knew exactly like the type of things we were keeping track of, and yeah, without any spoilers, we kind of had a feeling for what we needed to keep track of.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Gotcha.
There's a preview for the next episode, and I love the fact that Corey Cool is a super fan and noticed it. Does anybody notice an error with
Corey Cool did not. I texted him in the middle of the night. I said this to Corey, so
Corey's getting all the credit for being a super fan, but you found it. Where's Waldo?
So it has Kurt and Brody in the final 4 teams instead of Bernie and Ashley.
I know.
Well, that was originally that's what the writers for the show had scripted for us.
Yeah, because the show, it's so rigged and it's so scripted.
Oh my God! Seriously, don't ever say that on our show.
I will say that is the
It's
number
okay.
one thing that'll piss me off is when people act like it's rigged or produced or like teams get a one-up or like there's favorites from the producers or anything like that. Like we did not see that at all on our season. And if anything, like there were multiple times when they could have stepped in and helped certain teams in some capacity, and they didn't. And so, like when I hear like things like that, or when people say like U-turns are, rigged and added just to save people, or continuations are added just to save people, like logistically, that's impossible based on how they have to accommodate for like teams, how they have to accommodate for challenges.
Right. There's just so much goes
not
into it, and
doable.
like a lot of people from like Big Brother Canada were asking me, they're like, yeah, like we heard like your show, like a lot of it's like maybe like set up, and I was like,
not at all.
like my claws like came out. I was like, there is no way, I'm telling you.
Do you think that they wanted us to win 7 legs of the race? Do you think that they wanted us to win 5 in a row?
There's an article.
There's no way in the world they wanted that to happen.
There's an article that somebody wrote that said why Justin and Diana winning makes the Amazing Race painful to watch. So I don't think
There's an
that's
article.
how they
You read my article? Got it.
Can it just be directed to like him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not deserving.
Wait a second. Before you go, oh no.
What?
No.
Oh, well, I did, Tyler, just want to tell you that, so my mom never really watched The Amazing Race until we were on it, and now she's like, she'll text me Friday nights and say, like, which detour would you and Justin have done? But she is so team Tyler and Corey. She's watching tonight. She's never watched our podcast ever, but she's watching tonight because she knew that you were going to be on. But she also said that
Hi, Mom.
that she keeps thinking that you should be named Corey and Corey should be named Tyler.
Mind's blown. Hold on. His name's not even Tyler.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I read his
Wasn't
book,
it Matthew?
and it's like the first page. His name's not Tyler.
Spoiler.
Is it Matthew, right?
Yeah, my real name is Matthew. What?
Matthew Tyler.
Can't believe you just spoiled my book. How dare
It's like
you?
the first line of your book.
Now they don't need to buy the book. That was
That was it.
Well, trust me, you
Over.
need to buy the book. There's some stuff in there that I can't repeat in this podcast.
Yeah, when he was reading it on the airplane, I would look over and he would be like smiling. I'm like, yeah, it was fun.
It's great. I don't like reading, but that's a fun read.
You know what I would recommend over the book? I mean, the book is great. Definitely get the book. But if you really want to get an insight into Corey and I and what we do, and especially this whole season of what it means to be a YouTuber or an internet person, or like if you're like, what do they even do? Like, I don't get how that's a job.
Psychobabble?
No, not
Snurvis.
Psychobabble, but yeah, Psychobabble's great. Snurvis, we did a documentary about a year in the life. And I think it's a really good first glimpse if like you do not get the internet personality career at all. If you don't get it, it's a great way to kind of understand what all the people on this season do. And all of us do such unique things, and this is just like one route you can take. But and also if you liked me and Corey on the race, it's like a lot of me and Corey.
It's
I
awesome.
I watched it twice.
Oh God, no, you didn't.
Yeah, I did because I watched it alone and then I watched it with Tiff. So.
Oh.
It's a very good documentary. You should check it out. Snervous. It's everywhere that you could probably watch a movie. I'm sure you can get Snervous. And the audiobook at audible.com/.
Oh my God! Shut up.
Sponsoring our podcast.
Sorry. The absolute last thing we're going to talk about tonight is predictions. What are your predictions for
Final Three?
Oh, I hate this.
So I only have one team left from my draft. It's Matt and Dana. So I'm saying that Matt and Dana are definitely going to be in the Final Three with Tyler and Corey and Bernie and Ashley.
I'd like to point out I have 2 teams left from my pick. I'm just saying I have half of the teams of my pick. And if I have Bernie and Ashley and Sherry and Cole. Y'all were going to be my first pick, but Diana took it, and we had to do ladies first.
And I picked you because you were green. You guys were my heart pick for the green. My head pick was Bernie and Ashley, but I picked with my heart. So don't let me down. You guys are
don't let me down.
I unfortunately think Sherry and Cole have reached their end. And I hate to say that because I'm rooting for them. Like I really like them as people, but I feel like they're going up against some 3 pretty strong teams right now, and unless another team messes up, I think they've met their match.
I'm completely going with what you both said, and I don't want to.
I don't want to say it. I really don't.
See, part of me feels like that Sherry and Cole are hitting their stride now. Like they had been at the back for so long, they kind of worked their way up, and I don't think they're going to let that go. So
who's it going to be?
I think it's going to be Sherry and Cole in the Final 3 with Tyler and Corey and Bernie and Ashley. I'm sorry that Dina.
Matt and Dina are out.
Yeah, I just feel like they're going to make a mistake or something, and not because they're not qualified. I feel like these Final 4 are all really strong and could be Final 3, but I have to go with Tyler and Corey because they're Team Green, and Bernie and Ashley were the other pick I would have done, and Sherry and Cole, I feel like they're hitting their stride.
Yep, and don't forget, next week we're going to be talking to Matt and Dana, who will both be on the show, and for the final week, we might have the winners. I don't think we'll have them live, but we'll be at the finale. We'll record some stuff. We'll get some clips.
Are we going to have Cole?
I'm working on Cole to be on the. I am working on it, but they're all going to be traveling that Sunday because they're all going to be in LA and then traveling. So I have to figure out.
It's so soon.
I know.
So the season's coming to an end. 2 episodes left. 2 episodes, and the season's coming to an end.
Crazy.
Corey,
I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
And this is not to spoil anything, but Becky in the chat said, do you think there's a Final 4? And y'all have really never even considered that. Why is that?
No, I feel like they didn't like the last time.
Yeah, I feel like it didn't. We were hoping last year and it didn't happen, so I'm hoping it doesn't.
I liked it in 26. I liked when they did the Final 4 and then eliminated somebody like midway. It would be smart to do.
Well, I mean, with your cast, that makes more sense because.
Well, I knew when we were doing it, they weren't going to do it again because it was 27 and they just had done it. So, and I'm just thinking in my head they're not going to do it again because 26 was so soon. So, it could be. I don't know.
I would normally
happen.
I would normally think
could happen.
But yeah, it could be a Final 4. I don't know if they'll put a non-elimination right here, but you never know. It is one of those things. That Amazing Race.
I think they advertised it and they said Final 3. Didn't they?
I think they did.
I don't know.
Who will make the Final 3?
They might have said that. I might have made it up, but we can see.
So we do appreciate.
Apparently, I mean, Kurt and Brody are still in it.
Right.
So anything can happen.
I just want to take a second to thank each and every one of you for taking the times out of your busy days to spend it with us. It really means a lot, whether you're watching it live or you're watching this later. Please know that I really do appreciate each and every one of you. And if you would really like to help us, it's a couple clicks here and there. You can click a like, a little subscribe, a share. Every little bit helps. But thank you, each and every one of you, for taking the time to hang with us. Tyler, you're awesome, man. I really appreciate you. Taking 2 hours out of your day to hang with us.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. And
wow, it's been so long.
And thank you for supporting the season. Again, I do thank each and every person that comes on our show for that, because you don't have to, and a lot of people don't support the season after the race is over for whatever reason. And again, I say it again, it's really up to you guys to help save The Amazing Race and push it to season 30 for us. So we really appreciate you guys.
I know.
We really appreciate you guys backing it up for us. I mean,
well, we all genuinely loved the experience in the race and the Amazing Race family, and are so grateful to the producers and the people that watch every episode and speculate and get upset about U-turns and I love the passion and I love seeing it, and so I really appreciate it.
All right.
Awesome.
So I guess that's it. From all of us here at the Races Recap, I am Justin. Thank you so much for stopping by.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.